Hi, welcome back to another video. So today we are going to be talking about books that can get you back into reading. So I personally have been reading my whole life. So I never really stopped reading in order to get back into reading. But if that's the case with you or someone you know, this is going to be a good list of books that you can try to get back into reading, or just in general, a list of good books that are not only fast-paced but intriguing and make you want to keep reading and make you not want to put the book down. So that is our goal. Our goal is to make a list of some books that you can't put down, that you just want to keep reading, and that will draw your attention in really quickly so that you can get back into reading. And it's October, and yes, I did get home from the gym a little while ago, and I've got a pumpkin kettlebell for my Halloween shirt today. Today I've got a list of books that I would recommend for getting people back into reading, and I also asked one of my really good friends who reads a lot as well, some books that she recommends as well. So let's start off. This is just a list. I haven't organized it by genre or anything. So this is actually a book that I just finished last month, and it is Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. So this is a cozy fantasy, and it's about a witch who has lost her power, and she was excommunicated from the witching community because of what she did to lose her power. So her and her great aunt and a couple of their friends have made their house into an inn so that they have a means of income. The beginning of the story starts off with our main female character losing her magic, and then we progress like 10 or 15 years, something like that, and then the main part of the story starts from there. And so this book is very fast-paced. It keeps you intrigued throughout the whole book, and it's got a cute romance, and it's just a cozy fall fantasy book. So if you're looking for a cozy fall fantasy book, I would highly recommend this, especially for this time of year. And honestly, you could read this book anytime throughout the year, not just during fall. The timeline of the book goes through several different seasons, so it's not like it takes place solely in the fall. So it's just that the overall feel of the book is cozy. So that is book number one. Then I've got a couple books by B.K. Borison. So First Time Caller, which is the first book in the Heartstrings series, and also all 4 books of the Love Light Farm series. So these are all cute romances. I listened to them all on audiobook, and I really loved the narrator. And each character and each relationship, each couple really keeps you involved in the story. You always want to know what's happening next. And although in the books there are, quote, third act conflicts, just to keep it a little bit interesting, they're not necessarily conflicts that are super annoying, like miscommunication or this person did something stupid that might not actually happen in real life, or it's pretty far-fetched. That's not how those third act conflicts are in these books. But the romances are really cute. The stories are cute. I love the character development and the author's writing and the descriptions of everything, and the atmosphere of the books are super cozy too, super atmospheric. We've got the Love Light Farm series. Each book is based off of a season. So the first book is Love Light Farms, and that's a Christmas book, basically. It takes place during the Christmas time at a Christmas tree farm at Love Light Farms. They also grow other things, but they grow Christmas trees. So that's where the first one picks up. So if you are wanting to get back into reading, it is almost Christmas time, and this would be a perfect time to pick up that book. I have to say, I don't always love Christmas themed books. Especially the ones where it's like Groundhog Day, where they go back and they have to change something in order to like go to the next day. I cannot stand books like that. And this This is not like a typical Christmas romance. It's either Hallmark or Groundhog Day or just like annoying. No, no, no. These books are excellent. I love the author's writing. I love the storylines. I love the characters. So good. Highly recommend all of the B.K. Borison books. Then we've got Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. Now, I've only read the first book in the series. There are 3 books at least currently in the series, and I've only read the first one. Part of Your World is a romance. You're introduced to our 2 main characters, and our female main character at the beginning of the book is driving, and I believe she gets a flat tire or she hits something on the road, or drives off of the road and she's stuck. So then this nice guy, because it's a small town and it's at night, this nice guy pulls up, sees that she's stuck, and pulls her out. It's a ditch. She's stuck in a ditch, and pulls her out of the ditch. Well, come to find out, like 10 minutes later, she's hungry. The only place open in this town is the VFW, and that's where everyone in the town goes to hang out. So after this guy pulled her out of the ditch, he went to hang out at the VFW. So she goes there, and they end up seeing each other, talking, and things go from there. They exchange numbers and, you know, everything. But there were a few frustrating parts in this book. The female main character was getting on my nerves a little bit. However, the love story is so cute. And it doesn't drag out. It doesn't take forever to like get to that point. It's very cute. One of my favorite quotes of the year is from this book, and it is, "Grace costs you nothing." And that is a big theme in the book, and I love that quote so much. And it's a good fast-paced story. It's a cute romance. Highly recommend it. We've got the Never After series by Emily McIntyre. Yeah, Emily McIntyre. And the first book in this series is Hooked. Oh, actually, I've got the second one right here. The first book in this series is Hooked, and these are reimagined fairy tales, and they're reimagined where the villain is the main character. The main love interest is the villain, and these are dark and messy things happen in these books, and they are so good. They're so good. So I've read 4 of the 6, and I highly recommend them all. One of my other friends has read the other 2, and she said they're excellent as well. The first one is Hooked, and that's about Captain Hook, and he is the main male character and the main love interest. And these books are fast-paced and just raw and dirty and just so good. Just so good. I never wanted to put these books down. Like, I just wanted to keep reading and keep reading and keep reading just to see what happened next. Because you have this villain who now you're kind of falling for. Is he morally gray? Yeah, he is. But also he's super intriguing, and you want to know what happens next. Because the main female, the love interest, so in Hooked it was Wendy, and Hook was trying to get back at Wendy's father for some stuff in their past, and he was using Wendy to do that. However, they got together, and it was just so good. My favorite of the series is Scarred, which is the second book. And this one is about Scar from The Lion King, and he's the main male character, and his name is Tristan. He falls in love with Sarah, who would be Mufasa's wife, Sarabi. Was Sarabi? I think that was her name. Anyway, this book is so good. Oh my gosh, I still think about this book to this day. I read this a year ago, and I still think about it to this day. And I finished this book so fast. I finished every book in this series so fast, like within a couple of days. And I read so slow. Like, I read so slow. And this is the special edition with a sprayed edge. And it's got some character art in it. So that's Tristan and Sarah. And oh, y'all, these books are so good. I mean, definitely like dark romance for sure. Definitely dark romance, all of them. And morally gray and like crazy things happening, but you're rooting for the villain the whole time. Oh, it's so good. Oh, they're so good. Love that series so much. We've got Project Hail Mary. Now, I listened to the audiobook, and I would 100% recommend the audiobook over reading the physical book. The audiobook is amazing. There is a certain character that just wouldn't be the same without the audio component. Oh man, you guys. And I know the movie's coming out soon in the next couple of months. And I read Project Hail Mary probably a year and a half ago. And to this day, I still think about that book. I recommend Project Hail Mary to everyone. To everyone. Anyone looking for a book recommendation, Project Hail Mary. Because it was so amazing. It was so gripping. I loved the storyline. We're introduced to our main male character, and we're kind of going back and forth in time. So we start off with present day, and our main male character has amnesia. And he doesn't remember who he is, where he is, and why he's there. No clue. He's in a spaceship somewhere in outer space, and he has no idea why. No idea. He woke up and there's two corpses next to him. No idea who they are, no idea why. No clue. So, as time progresses, he starts remembering things. And that's when we go to the past, is when he's remembering certain things, we go to the past and start discovering bits and pieces of what was happening, what was going on, why he is where he is, and who he is. This book, I didn't want to put it down. I cried. I cried at the end. It was just so good. And basically, it's a story about saving Earth, but it's also a story of self-discovery and also just science. And he makes the science fun. Now, I already love science, and I enjoy science fiction, but the main male character, he makes the science fun, and he makes it interesting. Project Hail Mary. Yes, and audiobook. We've got Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I originally heard about this book from Lindsay on She Is Booked and Busy, and she actually was recommended this book in a Barnes & Noble by, I think it was some lady shopping, and Lindsay asked her a book recommendation, or somehow the lady told her, and she recommended this book and said it was so amazing. Well, then Lindsay read it and she said it was so amazing. So I went ahead and read it. I listened to the audiobook. This book is about Tova, and she works at an aquarium, and she has recently lost her husband. Well, Marcellus is an octopus in the aquarium. And Marcellus is very mischievous, and he every night escapes his tank and wanders around the aquarium for a little bit until he has to get back in the water. And Tova discovers this, and they become friends. And Marcellus ends up solving a little bit of a mystery for her on what happened to her son. So when she was younger, her son disappeared. So Marcellus helps solve this mystery. So you have different chapters and different people's perspectives. And one of those perspectives is Marcellus. He's just, literally a remarkably bright creature. Just so smart, so intuitive, can understand people. And it was just, I loved his point of view so much. It was just so heartwarming. And the whole journey, and Marcellus discovering things, and Tova, and learning about all this, it was so heartwarming. And I love this story so much. This book also made me cry. But this is also another book that I recommend to everyone. Literally everyone. It's just so good. It's so good. This book, I, again, haven't stopped thinking about it since I read it. It made me cry. I never wanted to put it down. I just wanted to keep reading. Just a very compelling, heartwarming story. Let's do a little switch. If you're into mystery thrillers, I would highly recommend any book by B.A. Paris. And anyone in my life who ask me for mystery thriller recommendations, I always recommend B.A. Paris. She writes very tricky books. I've listened to all of the books on audio, and these books keep you guessing. They keep you guessing until the very end. Because sometimes you think you know kind of what's going on, but it's not. It's not. And all of these mystery thrillers are just so conniving. And the people in them are just like, how could you do that to somebody that you care about? But it's so intriguing and it's so good. They're so good. Every time a book of hers comes out, I immediately borrow it from the library and listen to it. I just stumbled upon this author looking for books, audiobooks to listen to. And I've enjoyed every single one of her books. So if you enjoy mystery thrillers, if you enjoy books that are kind of psychological, where one of the characters is kind of psychologically manipulating the other character, making them kind of think that they're insane or stuff like that, or, you know, a really big twist at the end, B.A. Paris books are for you, for sure. Sticking with the mystery thriller theme, First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. This is another mystery thriller, and our main female character is basically a grifter. And she gets these assignments and goes to this place and pretends to be whoever her character is, and steals from these people. She gets involved in their lives, ingrained in their lives, and she steals from them. And whoever the head honcho guy is, who's calling the shots, whatever he asks of her, that's what she does. However, there's also another underlying story going on here. We get things from her past about her real actual life, and then how she got to where she is now, and her trying to get out of this life, and how she's going about that. And it's very tricky. And I listened to the audiobook for this. 100% recommend listening to the audiobook for this. It was so good. And you think you know what's going on? Nope. You have no idea. You have no idea. I loved this book. I love this book. And it's called First Lie Wins, because she, as the grifter in the group, she said, if you're the first person to tell a lie, you win, because everyone believes you. And when you lie, be as close to the truth as you can, but the first lie always wins. That's why the book is called that. Gosh, this book was good. So good. I read it pretty much when it came out, and I also recommend this book to a lot of people. Let's get into some books by Tejan. Now, Tejan is one of my all-time favorite authors. And my very good friend from grad school got me into Tejan's writing with this book right here, Fallen Crest High. This is the first book in the Fallen Crest series. And we were in grad school, so we were busy. I was working. So not only was I in school, full-time student, I was also working at a bar on nights and weekends. So I was very busy. And yet, I still made time to read these books, because that's how good they are. Because this is how good they are. Tejan's writing is amazing. And I have felt that way for the last 15 years. These books are so good. I mean, they're so good. Every one of her books are excellent. Her writing, her writing and her character development, everything's just so gritty and raw, just heartfelt, and the characters have real life problems and real life trauma, and they figure it out. And it's not pretty, it's messy and gritty, and just hard work and relapse and just getting through it. Bad stuff happens, and these people go through so much but they get through it. I mean, every single one of her books is amazing. In the Fallen Crest series, we have 3 main characters. We have Samantha, Mason, and Logan. Mason and Logan are brothers, and Samantha's mother ends up marrying Mason and Logan's father. And so Samantha moves into their mansion with them, and they don't like her at first. They don't want her there. As things progress, they realize that she's pretty cool. And so they have like this little friend group. Samantha's been through some stuff in her childhood. Mason and Logan have been through some stuff in their childhood, and it starts off with these characters in high school. It's just so good. This series is just amazing. The author's writing is amazing. It keeps you reading, keeps your attention, holds your attention. I mean, highly recommend these books. They're so good. Oh, and we've got another one by Tejan. This one is called Ryan's Bed. This is probably, I know it's my favorite Tejan book, and this is probably one of my all-time favorite books. Okay, I'm gonna read you the synopsis of Ryan's Bed. I crawled into Ryan Jensen's bed the first night by accident. I barely knew him. I thought it was his sister's bed, her room. It took seconds to realize my error, and I should have left. I didn't. I didn't jump out. I didn't get embarrassed. I relaxed. And that night, in that moment, it was the only thing I craved. I asked to stay. He let me, and I slept. The truth? I never wanted to leave his bed. I could have stayed there forever. I would have. He became my sanctuary because 4 hours earlier, my twin sister killed herself. Her twin sister killed herself. She found her, and it was their birthday. Her parents were obviously going through their own grief. Through some circumstances, she ended up in Ryan's bed, mistaking it for his sister's. They proceed to develop a relationship. Obviously, she's trying to cope with the loss of her sister and basically the loss of her parents because they're just not present. And Ryan helps her through all of this, becomes her rock. That's a big theme in a lot of Tejan's books is our main, not always, but our main female characters have a lot of past trauma, a lot of current trauma, and the male main characters are their rock, and they're always there for them. Touch her and die vibes from almost all of her main male characters. And these, the books, they're just so good. They're just so good. This video is gonna take forever if I keep talking about these books like this. Let's get into a little bit of fantasy with Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Now, if you have lived under a rock for the last 3 years, then you won't know anything about these books. However, because of how busy and kind of chaotic my life was, I had slowed my reading down. I didn't stop reading. I was just reading about 20, 25 books a year, which for me is not a lot. And it's, there's just a lot going on in my life. It's chaotic. And anytime I was reading, I was usually reading a Tejan book or some sort of romance. And I had forgotten how good fantasy books could be. I really had forgotten how good fantasy books could be. And once again, my friend from grad school texted me and said, you need to read this book. The second one is coming out soon. You need to read this book. And so I said, okay, because I 100% trust her judgment in all book recommendations, every single one of them. And so she told me to read this book, so I said, okay. So I went ahead and ordered it. I think it's like the Christmas or holiday edition was just about to be released. And then also Iron Flame was just about to be released. And so I said, okay. So I pre-ordered both books. And when I tell you that I haven't stayed up this late reading a book in years and years and years and years. It had been years. And I finished this book in a couple days. And I was staying up until 1, 2 in the morning reading because I didn't want to put this book down. I didn't want to put it down. And reminded me how much I love fantasy books. In this book, Violet is our main female character, and she is going to train to be a dragon rider, even though that hasn't been her path in life thus far. So her mother makes her change her path, and she is going to become a dragon rider. This school is ruthless. This book is addicting. This series is addicting. I love all 3 books that are out so far. I couldn't put all 3 of them down. I know Iron Flame gets a bad rap. People say they don't like it, but you know what? I loved it. I thought it was really good. I really, really enjoyed it. And I read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame back to back. If you like dragons in a fantasy world and magic and romance and shadow daddies, this series is for you. This series is for you. All right, let's talk about a couple of historical fiction books. So the first one I just recently finished, and that was The Rose Code by Kate Quinn. This book takes place during World War II in England, and it's about breaking the Enigma machine, which was the machine that Germany used to encode all of their messages. Brits were trying to break this code. And there's also a movie about it, about Alan Turing, and I really enjoyed the movie too, but this book was so good. I mean, it was so good. You have 3 main female characters who all work at Bletchley Park, which is where all of the code breaking was taking place. And these 3 women end up becoming friends, and they all work at Bletchley Park, and there's also an underlying mystery. So we have the past timeline and a current timeline where at first we don't know which one of the 3, but was actually sent to an insane asylum because she found out some things that she wasn't supposed to. And so someone said that she was insane and made her go to the asylum, even though she's not insane. She just found out something she wasn't supposed to. So you have the past timeline where you get all 3 girls' perspectives, and you're going through the war and trying to break the code, and also their personal lives and all of that. But then you're also trying to figure out the mystery of who the traitor was and why whomever is in an insane asylum, because you don't know who it is. I listened to the audiobook, and it was so intriguing and so gripping, and I actually recommended this book to one of my friends, and she listened to it right away and she loved it as well. Just a very, very good historical fiction. Another historical fiction, which also takes place in World War II, is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Now, this one takes place in France during World War II, and you're following 2 sisters, and one is kind of a rebel and wants to fight back against the Nazis, and the other just wants to stay home with her children and just try to get through the best that she can. And this follows both sisters through the war and the turmoil that they go through, and just trying to survive, and how they get through the war. And it's so, the writing and the storytelling, the author it's a very good book, and it's heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking what happens to these characters. It's a story about survival. It's a story about 2 sisters and surviving together. It was so sad, but it was so good. It was just an amazing book, and it keeps you interested in the story the whole entire time. Another historical fiction is 1000 White Women by Jim Fergus. And I gave this book 5 stars. It's such a good historical fiction. So basically, it's a diary of a female, May Dodd. Basically, back in the late 1800s, there was a program of marrying off these white women to Native Americans to try to incorporate Native Americans into white culture. And they basically took white women out of jail, these women who had committed crimes, and shipped them off to be married off to Native Americans. And this was about them not only learning about themselves, but learning about Native American culture. and being incorporated into Native American culture, and why the Native Americans did things the way that they did, why they moved from place to place, why they did this, why they did that. So I went to school for forensic anthropology, and we had to study cultural anthropology, which is basically studying other cultures. And I really enjoy that. I love hearing about other people's cultures. And so I loved this book and what happened. I mean, it was obviously devastating and a lot of bad things happened, but the story was very intriguing. I'm going to read the synopsis. 1,000 White Women is the story of May Dodd and a colorful assembly of pioneer women who, under the auspices of the U.S. government, traveled to the western prairies in 1875 to intermarry among the Cheyenne Indians. The covert and controversial Brides for Indians program, launched by the administration of Ulysses S. Grant, is intended to help assimilate the Indians into the white man's world. Toward that end, May and her friends embark upon the adventure of their lifetime. Jim Fergus has so vividly depicted the American West that it is as if these diaries are a capsule in time. And I read this book a few years ago, and there are actually 3 books in this series, and I enjoyed each and every one of them. I highly recommend these books. Let's switch back to romance. And I've got 2 different series by Helena Hunting. The first series is Pucked, and it is a hockey romance series. I have recommended this series to multiple people and they have all loved it so much. One of my friends that I work with, she actually rereads this series quite often. In this book, we follow different hockey players in each one and then their significant others and how they meet this person and their relationship and how their relationship develops. And these stories are so funny. I love the author's writing. It's very engaging. It's very gripping. You find yourself really immersed in the story and what's going on in their relationships. And the books are funny. And there are a lot of spicy scenes and just so many good things about this series. Highly recommend. So good. So if you like sports romance, definitely Pucked by Helena Hunting. Now, she has another series called Clipped Wings, and this one is about a tattoo shop. So you have these people who work at the tattoo shops and the relationships that they form and develop with their significant others. A lot of trauma that people are dealing with and going through and working through the trauma, and all whilst forming a community and a found family within this tattoo shop. I read these books so fast. Like, I didn't want to put a single book in the series down. Like, I just wanted to keep reading. So they really hold your attention and they keep you intrigued for sure. Okay, we're almost done. Another romance standalone is Room Hate by Penelope Douglas. And I read this book several years ago, but it was a 5-star for me and it's so good. Sharing a summer house with a hot as hell roommate should be a dream come true, right? Not when it's Justin, the only person I'd ever loved who now hates me. When my grandmother died and left me half of the house on Aquaneck Island, there was a catch. The other half would go to the boy she helped raise. The same boy who turned into the teenager whose heart I broke years ago. The same teenager who's now a man with a hard body and a hard-ass personality to match. I haven't seen him in years, and now we're living together because neither of us is willing to give up the house. The worst part? He didn't come alone. I'd soon realize there's a thin line between love and hate. I could see through the smug smiles. Beneath it all, the boy is still there. So is our connection. The problem is, now I can't have Justin. I've never wanted him more. A lot of banter, a lot of back and forth, a lot of, you hurt me in the past, second chance romance. It keeps you immersed in the story. Another good one. Then we have The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. So this is a dystopian fantasy, and they're loosely based off of some Disney characters. So you've got Cinderella, you've got Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Sleeping Beauty, no, Red Riding Hood and Rapunzel. And so the first book is about Cinder. Humans and androids crowd the ruckus streets of New Beijing. A deadly plague ravages the population. From space, a ruthless lunar people watch, waiting to make their move. No one knows that Earth's fate hinges on one girl. 16-year-old Cinder, a gifted mechanic, is a cyborg. She's a second-class citizen with a mysterious past and is reviled by her stepmother. But when her life becomes intertwined with the handsome Prince Kai, she suddenly finds herself in the center of an intergalactic struggle and a forbidden attraction. Caught between duty and freedom, loyalty and betrayal, she must uncover secrets about her past in order to protect her world's future. Because there is something unusual about Cinder, something that others would kill for. So, her and the prince end up getting together, trying to eradicate this plague from their country that's killing all of these people. But also there is a looming war with these lunar people. These books are fast-paced and intriguing, and there's cute romances. I'm pretty sure it's a YA series, but still keeps you involved. Another good series. Those are all of the series that I would personally recommend. I did, however, also ask my friend from grad school for some recommendations. And she highly recommended the Red Rising series, which I unfortunately have not read yet. But she said that everybody who she recommends that series to has loved it, and it actually got her best friend back into reading. So he hadn't been reading at all, and she recommended the Red Rising series, and it got him back into reading. So that's another very intriguing, good sci-fi if you want to get back into reading. Then we have Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. And Adrienne Young writes a lot of magical realism, or books with magical realism. This one is about a mystery and romance set in an isolated, mist-shrouded island in the Pacific Northwest. I have been wanting to read this book, I just haven't gotten to it yet. Then, two mystery thrillers. She has A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. I have not read that one yet. It's about Chloe Davis, a psychologist in Baton Rouge who is haunted by the memory of her father confessing to the murders of 6 teenage girls in her hometown 20 years prior. When a new series of disappearances begins, Chloe fears history is repeating itself and becomes obsessed with uncovering the truth, questioning everyone around her as she tries to determine if a copycat killer is at large or if she is losing her grip on reality. Now, the last one she recommends is Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. And I've actually read this mystery thriller, and I listened to the audiobook, and I would highly recommend the audiobook because there's a podcast element to this book, and the audiobook depicts that really well. A thriller that follows Lucy, who is the prime suspect in her best friend Savvy's murder, but she has no memory of it. So you get the present day story of Lucy going back to her hometown after she left years ago and dealing with all of the turmoil of all these people in the small town thinking that she killed her best friend. And you also get the past where Lucy and Savvy were at this wedding and all of the events leading up to her best friend's murder. However, she doesn't remember how her best friend was murdered. She was there, she was stumbling out of the woods covered in her best friend's blood, but she doesn't remember anything that had happened. So, slowly, in present day, she is trying to figure out who actually killed her best friend. And there's a podcaster in town at the same time who is interviewing people. He's interviewing people, and you kind of get other people's sides to the story, and you get background information and all of the timeline of events that have happened. And Lucy and this podcaster kind of work together to try to solve the mystery. Very good book, very good audiobook, would highly recommend. Okay. That is the end of this very extremely long video. I talked way too much. And I know there are a bunch more books out there that are super intriguing and keep you guessing, and you don't want to put the books down. So if you have any more recommendations for books to get you back into reading, please leave those down below in the comments. If you have read any of these books and you agree with my opinion, please also leave a comment down below. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video, which is going to be a real good one. Okay, catch you later. Bye.